Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be discussing the new report from NBA Insider Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, who reported that the Bulls have a level of interest in Kevin Huerter, the Sacramento Kings guard, and this is incredibly interesting to me for multiple reasons. One, because I do think the Bulls, I think if they had to make a decision right now on their NBA trade deadline kind of path, I think the Bulls want to almost trade LaVine and retool instead of completely running it back and completely rebuilding. So maybe a trade with the Kings could kind of be that in-between land that the Bulls, I think, are hoping to fall into. Now, this is also interesting. We got a report that said that the Kings are interested in Zach LaVine as well. So once I heard those two reports, I said, you know what, Patrick, let's try to cook up a trade between the Kings and the Chicago Bulls, and this is what I came up with. And I know you guys have been all over me for my trade ideas, but I think this is one that most of the fans will enjoy. And this was the Kings receiving Zach LaVine and the Bulls receiving Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and 2 first-round picks. And the number one thing I like about this trade that I cooked up was the first-round picks. Obviously, Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter are more just role players, guys that will help you get better on the margins. And if the Bulls are in more of a, championship window contention, I think these two guys could be valuable. And actually, those two players almost fill a need that I don't think the Bulls necessarily have filled. They don't really have a lot of true catch-and-shoot guys on this roster. Even though Kevin Huerter has struggled this year, and we'll get to his numbers here in a little bit, he is an elite catch-and-shoot guy. Same with Harrison Barnes. We've seen it dating back to his days in Golden State. He's always been a top-end and a top-notch catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. So this is a trade that the Bulls will be getting. And honestly, in terms of the Bulls' overall roster around this move, let's just say we do move off LaVine and we get Huerter and Barnes. We would be getting a nice forward, a nice little yin and yang of Harrison Barnes and Patrick Williams. Barnes obviously being the more offensive-minded forward, and then Patrick Williams being the more defensive-minded guy. And then Kevin Huerter, I wouldn't hate throwing Kevin Huerter in there for 15, 20 minutes a night. See if he can catch fire. See if he can play well next to Io, next to Kobe White. This trade, the more I keep talking myself into it, the more I do enjoy it. But I want to get you guys involved. I want you guys to hop in the comment section right now. You guys can either get on me saying that's a terrible trade for the Bulls, or you guys can say, I love it, but let me know. Would you accept this deal for Zach LaVine? Zach LaVine heading to Sacramento for Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, 2025 first-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section. A for accept, D for decline. For me, guys, this is in the 100%. I am accepting this trade, and for a multitude of reasons. And I already kind of hinted at my reasons at the beginning of the show. One, I do think the Bulls straight up just need to get off LaVine. I don't want to see this continue anymore. I just think the Bulls are so much better without him in the lineup. And even though he has came back against the Hornets and he has played well, I just think the Bulls, I just think it's time. And I think LaVine doesn't want to be here. I think LaVine wants to be heading somewhere else. And obviously he's familiar with, being out west, being from there, going to school at UCLA. So I think for that reason, number one, the Bulls just need to move off Zach LaVine. Then also number two for me is the Bulls need draft picks. And I understand maybe if you think the Kings are going to be so good with this LaVine trade that they're going to be picking 25 to 30. Even if they are, the Bulls still need to accumulate draft picks. Because if the Bulls kind of want to pivot into this kind of trade LaVine and retool, you could use these draft picks and this almost trade package. Think about this for the Bulls. You could use this trade package to go get another star, to go get another player. So I think for a multitude of reasons, I would do this deal. And honestly, I like Kevin Huerter. I like Harrison Barnes. It's just guys that will help you get better on the margins, guys that will help just play overall better team basketball offensively and defensively. I'm a fan of that. And listen, I know you may be saying if you guys are tapped into the Kings this year, you guys know Kevin Huerter is not having a good year whatsoever. He is typically not this poor of a three-point shooter, as I did call him a shooter at the top of today's video. So, listen, him only shooting 33% from the downtown this year is not normally his norm. He is a catch-and-shoot guy. And also with a lot of these guys in the NBA, I've been saying this for a while, if their percentage is, lower, and you see they're at 33, 35% or whatever it may be, typically these guys are extremely streaky, and that's kind of what Kevin Huerter is. He'll go have a game where he's 7 to 10, and you're like, oh my God, this is one of the best shooters in the world. But also have the opposite end of that where he'll have an absolute stinker. But these are his numbers from the season. Honestly, not bad. I honestly am not too concerned with these numbers because I have watched him play throughout his college career and throughout his NBA career, and I just think this will change. I think this will change if he does get a change of scenery. I'll be giving you guys more thoughts on this trade here in a second, but at first I do want to give a big time shout out to PrizePicks, today's sponsor of today's edition of the Bulls Report. If you guys head to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use promo code CLNS, they're going to give you a first deposit match up to $100. Link for that will be in the comment section and description of today's show. This is a lineup I rolled with last night as the Bulls did take on the Houston Rockets. I took the more on Patrick Williams points, more on DeRozan points, and more on Coby White's points. I just thought the Bulls are going to be able to get off to a hot start against Houston. But hey, if you guys want to make some picks of your own, make sure you guys do it at PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS, and you guys will receive a first deposit match up to $100. Make sure you guys get hooked up with PrizePicks today. It's daily fantasy made easy. You guys will enjoy it just as much as I do. So please get hooked up. Use that promo code CLNS, and you'll get your first deposit match up to $100. So let's dive back into this trade. Listen, obviously, if I had to predict it, this is a big trade deadline for the Bulls. We all know that because I think they got a ton of decisions they need to make. I think they got 3 choices. They are either going to go all in on this year and triple down on this big 3 that they believe it can work and keep LaVine, keep Vooch, keep DeRozan, keep Caruso, and just really go all in on them. Maybe try to make a move for a guy, though, again, hope you get better on the margins like these 2 guys are. Or I think the Bulls will do a trade like this, where they trade LaVine, but also try to retool the roster. I think that's where they're leaning right now. Or they could just go full rebuild. Personally, I would either go trade LaVine and retool, or I would go full rebuild. If you do go full rebuild, honestly, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because I just see the potential with this team. I just don't think the nucleus is good enough to, compete in the Eastern Conference, and I don't even think they're close to competing in the Eastern Conference. So if I had to choose it, I would go full rebuild. But just say, you know what? I want to keep LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch, or keep Caruso, DeRozan, and Vooch, and kind of build around Coby White. Hopefully Alonzo comes back. I think this would be a great trade for the Bulls, man. Like, I really do. I am all in on this deal. Trading Zach LaVine to Sacramento, you get 2 really solid role players, 2 good shooters, and you also get 2 unprotected first-round picks, man. That is the key for this Bulls team, getting those draft picks, because that's the number one thing with this unit. The Bulls need more draft capital, either to go try and draft that superstar or go, and try to trade for that superstar. I think that's the number one thing that the Bulls need to be considering right now. Go get more draft picks. Because overall, the Bulls definitely do need a star. It's a star league. If you look back at the past 40 NBA champions, they all have top 25 players of all time on it, except probably for the 2004 Pistons. But this is a Jordan, Magic, Bird, Bron, Curry, Kobe, Jokic, Giannis nowadays. Like, those are the guys that win ships. Bulls don't have that guy. They don't have that blue chip kind of player on this roster. You know how you go do it? You accumulate draft picks, try to get them throughout the draft, or you go and just straight up trade for them. But either way, it's hard to get one of those guys. I don't know. I think I would do that trade. LaVine for 2 firsts and Huerter and Barnes. I would 100% do it. But I've seen you guys disagree. Let me know your thoughts below. Overall, I am kind of sick of talking about all these trade rumors around the Bulls. I just kind of hope they do make a move to improve this roster. I want to see Chicago Bulls basketball back up on top. But the NBA trade deadline is a month away, so make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. Hit that sub button. Lock us in as your go-to Bulls YouTube channel. And we'll see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.